You really outdid yourself, Ruth. I could see back my classmate friends back there were saying, hell, he had trouble holding a job. Well, I want to join my distinguished colleagues here that were awarded this magnificent presentation today and give my thanks for everything that you do here at the Army War College. And I want to point out a couple of special friends that I have here. General Dick Treffry, of course, who is well known he's a part of the Army War College. Dick is the one, I guess, that nominated me for this dubious distinction this morning. And also my dear friend, Dave Grange. Dave and I go way back together. Dave is probably arguably my best Army friend from years ago, and we did many things together when he had the 82nd Airborne, and I was privileged to be part of the 2nd Marine Division. Also, General Dick Potter. I guess we go back further than I'll tell anybody, too, back to the days when Delta Force was just starting, and Dick was the number 2 deputy down there and the like, and thank you for joining us. And then finally, my faculty advisor when we did the study here at the Army War College, Bob Sorley, and his wife. Thank you for being here, Bob. And we did a study here in 1974 called A National Military Strategy for the 1990s. And you know, you can't predict the future, but you can predict trends. And we took a long, hard look at that, and we came up with some good trends, and they panned out. We, for example, predicted what would happen in the Balkans when Marshal Tito was out of there, and the rest was history. We predicted also the vacuum that was being created in Africa at the time as a result of the Nixon Doctrine, where we began to ignore many of the things that were going on in that part of the world and the like. And some say that Dr. Sorley's study was really the beginning of the idea of the Rapid Deployment Force, which later led to the Central Command. Now, I mention this not to talk about how great we were, although it is a privilege to be the first guy picked out of the class of 1974. But this was a great class, and my colleagues really deserve this award, not me. We had arguably the largest number of generals and admirals from that class in the history of the War College. I can't check that out, but I think that we had a large number, and you ought to check that out. I want to really make the rest of my few remarks here address it to the class of 2016 or 15, whatever you're going to be, 15, I guess, right? You know, you're going to leave here, and you've been told already how great you are and all that kind of thing. You're going to leave here thinking that you know all there is to know about everything, and you're going to set the world on fire, and you probably will. I would just remind you that these are going to be tough financial times for the military, and there really isn't anybody on active duty, civilian or military, that's been around when we had these tough times before. And I would remind you, though, that it costs no money to think, none at all. And some of our greatest innovations, be it Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marine, or our allies and friends that are here with us, some of our greatest innovations have been done when we had no money. And so I would encourage you to remember that and to think about that. The other idea that I would have is that all of you, or most of you, and your friends here from the other countries have participated in some pretty tough operations in the last decade, and you've done very, very well. And the 29th Commandant has never been prouder of the men and women in our armed forces than he is this morning. But that's the last thing I'm going to say about that, because we got to think about the future. And above all, you want to remember, no matter how smart you are, no matter what job you are, whether you're on a staff or whether you're in command or whatever, the young men and women in the armed forces today, in my humble opinion, are the finest we've ever had. Remember that you're privileged to lead those people, and for crying out loud, take good care of them. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. God bless you, and as has been mentioned before, Semper Fidelis.